Oh yeah, I think everything's live. Things are possibly live right now. Welcome to Art of Rock. It's Saturday, every Saturday. Here we are, first and foremost. Today's special, but we're going to get to that in a moment. It's a really special day. Firstly and foremost, I want to acknowledge the Tongva people as the traditional landowners of Los Angeles and this Southern California area. And I am grateful. Secondly, this is every Saturday at 9 a.m. Join us for the Art of Rock. Follow us on Twitch. Normally we raid to MTV TV, but we're not going to do that today. We're doing something different because today is a very, very special day. We are doing the raid train, which has just started. This is for DJ Addambombb, who is the main, well, him and Diana are the working craziness behind MTV TV, who has helped so many bands, and my mic is working, right? Yeah, it is. Has helped so many bands, and Adam's going in for some, it's life-saving lung surgery. He's having a chunk of his lung cut out, and we're going to help him because America is not. The American healthcare system has let him down. As it lets everyone down. I'm just going to make sure everybody saw those links because they're super important. So one of those links is for the Facebook, which is going to be taking you through the raid streams. If you jump on late, it'll tell you where you can jump in. The other one is for the GoFundMe, and that's super important because that's what this is all about. I think there's also a link to PayPal and Venmo on the PayPal, on the Facebook event. And here's something fun. ANGELSPIT is giving a portion of our merch income from the past week to Adam to help this going. And I'm challenging all other bands to do the same thing. If you're as poor as I am, you can't afford it, but hey, we're not getting portion of our lungs cut out. So we're looking after Adam. And right now, the stream train is watching Luna Chroma. That's their Twitch. It started. It has started. And big hi to Diana, who fucking keeps everything going. Okay. We're just going to talk, and we're going to be pushing people towards the GoFundMe and the Twitch stream as we go. But today's element of conversation is, I think flow state is bullshit. And here's why. When I went through music, when I was going through the rigmarole of music, it was pushing towards 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. And just like everything else in our fantastic modern world, there is a thing of easiness being applied to everything. Even the creation of music and art, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say creating music and art is the hardest thing in the world. Creating a good song is really, 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 really hard. And I consider myself a half-decent songwriter. And it's really hard. And I am now joined by Ivan and Vince, who have been doing music for a long fucking time, and they're pretty damn smart cookies. And I'm pretty sure these guys are going to agree with me to say that creating a good song is fucking hard. There's a lot of brain power. There's a balance between all of this stuff. So my thoughts on this, like everywhere I look, constantly, and maybe I'm misunderstanding of what's going on, but everywhere I look, people talk about flow state and how important flow state is. And I get up at 4:30 in the morning, almost every morning, to work on music. And let me tell you, and I get up then because my brain works in a certain way. I rarely have flow state. I rarely achieve it. For me, it's hard fucking work. Constantly hard work. And I keep bumping into artists and composers who want to do it, but they're not doing it or whatever, because they can't achieve this magical, mystical flow state. And like, my message is, flow state is overrated. Perhaps 1% of what you are doing in the creative process is flow state. And people go, I'm not achieving flow state, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to write a song because I'm not inspired. I'm not going to do the album. When are you going to do your album? I don't know, when I'm inspired. So that means never. Because work, home, finances, and everything else are robbing your brain's power and ability to have this magical, mystical, creative experience. Flow state for me happens when I'm walking through the aisles buying groceries, and for a second I hear something and it's like, oh my god, I have to write that down. That's it. It's these tiny little smidgens of diamond dust, and then I spend 99.9% of the time arduously, painstakingly putting those things together. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not. When your track doesn't work, you want to kill yourself. You think you are worthless, garbage, and you're never going to write a good song again, and everything you've done is crap until the song works, and then everything's fantastic. Wow, what a drug. So I want to throw the floor open. Flow space, or whatever the fuck it's called. Can you achieve it? Is it important to you? And then I really want to focus on the importance of that other 99% of hard frickin' work. Talk to me. I think I saw Ivan's hand. I know Vince wants to say something.
Okay. I don't think it exists.
Woo!
Because like, is it? There's no magic in this. It is hard work. Sometimes it feels vaguely magical because everything's just going along wonderfully, but like don't think that that's what that is. Things are just going well. I never end up and it's also extremely, because it's so very poorly defined, it leads me to believe it doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's really interesting because, we had this big off-camera conversation a few weeks ago about magic and the importance of magic in music. And I think,
it is, but it's not it.
Yes, yeah, I agree. That's it. Although a really important element of magic is hard fucking work, because, like we said from that conversation, this is not about waving your magic wand and suddenly a goose or something appears in front of you. This is about pulling down something from a higher place, a higher realm into your brain. Arduously, grievously pulling something down. And every word I just use purposely hints towards hard work. So, I say, yeah, that's what I say. Vince.
Okay. I hear what you're saying, and I kind of agree with you. I don't think it's that it doesn't exist. I think that it's poorly defined because people don't know what it actually is.
Define it.
And what it is a neurodivergent trait. Because I can tell you right now, I just read the definition of flow state. I Googled it just now and read it, and I went, oh my God, I was doing that several days ago.
What is it?
Doing that, producing the last track I was in.
What is it?
Working on. It's that thing where you're doing the thing you're doing and the rest of the world just seems to not exist. Like it's not literally that you feel like you could do it forever. It's that in that moment, it's the thing of most importance and you're hyper fixated on what you're doing.
Okay.
It's task oriented hyperfixation. It's not necessarily the further definition says that it supposedly happens when the skill level matches the person using the skill. Like the skill level required matches the skill level that the person has. so that everything syncs up perfectly. But I don't think that's it. I think it's deeper than that. It's more of a drive to make it work. You ever been working on a track and you can't make it work and you're stuck in it, but you are in it,
Right.
until you figure it out, and everything else seems to not matter at all until you've got that figured out. Like, my wife had a cat issue yesterday where the cat was attacking her hand while she was trying to play a video game, and I had my headphones in. It was in my, like, in the mixing software doing things, and I had no idea any of that happened until it got turned off and I put my stuff away. I came back in the room and she's like, man, you missed the whole thing that happened. And she was 2 feet away from me the whole time. I
Wow.
think that's what they're talking about.
Okay.
It's the tendency to tune things out around you and be so imminently focused on the task at hand that feels like it could be forever. Some people see that as a positive thing because they feel like they're doing good at it and that's why they're there. But I don't think that's always what it is. I think that when they're good at what they're doing, they see it as flow state. When they're struggling with it and they're stuck in that loop of trying to figure it out, that's not flow state to them. But it's all flow state. It's just hyperfixation on a task.
That's very interesting.
And what task you choose to hyperfixate on. If it's music production that you choose to put yourself into, then your hyperfixation is going to align itself with the thing you want to do.
That's really interesting. That's interesting because I don't know if I achieve that state. Like, and Ivan, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I don't know if I achieve that state. It's funny, I do, I log hours when I do stuff because I want to know how long a track's taking me, and it feels like I've been working on it for like 4 hours and I've been there for an hour. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, that was very interesting. Thank you very much. I still don't know if I personally have achieved that. Here's Ivan, go.
Vince makes really good points. Well, let's keep in mind that like neurodivergence is a spectrum disorder, and there's a lot of ifs thens that go into it, and so like how you're going to experience it is going to be different. And your description of your version of it, it totally makes sense. And I've been there. Also, when you're playing a piece, practicing it, and you reach that point where it's just happening, and you're just playing it, and you start to feel like you're floating because, it's going that well. You don't have to think about it. You're just in the ether, just smacking out the chords or playing the notes. Like that is a thing that I will experience. Fairly certain I might be, I might just sound crazy to other people. Is flow state when you're just ignoring your, like, everything else is shut down, and like you're just only worried about that one, the one part that you're working, like only worried about the music you're working on. Maybe it's badly described, and I think this is because like it is a function of being like, if you're doing art, odds are you're on the spectrum. But at the same time, we all are going to experience what that means differently, and so we'll find different words to describe essentially the same thing. And then like one needs to also remember we're going to approach using those words not exactly like neurotypical folks, so we'll find new creative ways to describe the same thing. So then maybe that's what makes it sound like BS. a few thoughts.
Okay. No, this is good. Firstly, Alex says, if I'm in this state, my self-criticism is kind of suspended for the moment, and we miss you today, Alex. We hope you get better. Chicken soup, mate. Everybody in the world agrees. Chicken soup. Rob, hello. I'm wrapping your order right now, Rob. Thank you so much for backing the Kickstarter. Paul, welcome. Way crazy listening to AngelSpit, spreading the kingdom of cyberbeat and bass. Here is AngelSpit Live. Cool. Paul, welcome. This is every Saturday morning, and we're doing a special thing today for DJ Addambombb. Check that shit now. That's what's going on. So listen to Twitch while we're talking, or go there. And I've got links to the GoFundMe because it's super important. Wow, everybody is online today. No, that's good. Hack, welcome. I hope you're watching DJ Addambomb stream. If you combined all 3 points, then it can be summed up as flow state. Yeah, it's like whitewater rafting. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's hard work, and besides, it beats the shit out of you. Yeah, actually, you nailed it, man. That's kind of good. I like that. Hack, I'm also wrapping your damn order from the Kickstarter right now. Thank you, and I'm sorry it's late. Wow. Okay, that's really good. I've appreciated this conversation. I want to know more about your experiences with it, your recent experiences with it, and how you, the process of creating music, all of these things go. Ivan, hit me, baby.
I will go. I learned something this week because COVID side effects, including brain fog, and there's an inner ear thing going on. So like up until like Wednesday, like I was nonstop dizzy.
Hold on, dude.
Like,
you've been out of the woods for like 2 weeks on this,
and I could not even type.
Wow. So that the fog was that thick.
Yes, it was fog. And one of my biggest worries mid fog was that the muse had died, because like tried looking at stuff that I'd been working on, and like it was just nothing made sense. It was freaking horrible. Yeah, and there was obviously no getting into a flow state on that, because like that part of my brain was just shut the hell off. And because it was busy trying to maintain some vague equilibrium with the world.
Do you know about ginkgo?
Yes.
If you can, can I just jump in? Ginkgo biloba. Biloba, I think that's how you say it. It's a plant, and it helps with brain fog. Trust me, because I did it, and it really, really, really. My parents actually have one growing, and it's a Chinese tree, and it's a beautiful tree. They have one growing in their yard, and it's a male, and males are like really rare. And knowing my parents, who are hardcore plant people, they have a male. And it's the leaves. You just dry the leaves out, and you drink that shit, and they're you make it into a tea, and it works. My God, it works. It really, really worked. And as I mentioned, the other thing that helped was fasting, but that's probably something you can't do because of diabetes, and I'm sorry about that.
I intermittent fast every morning.
Oh, good on you.
Because I don't eat until evening.
All right, great.
And and then I eat dinner and I'm done. And actually I think we've got some ginkgo in the cupboard.
Oh, good. Use it. Yeah, okay, now there's a conversation. Maybe it is the female trees. I don't know. I'm not sure which one they have, but they have it. No, I think it's the male. Yeah, use that ginkgo. It's yeah, man, it's real interesting. Vince, I always love it when you jump in on the process of creating music. So please, if you want to jump in.
Well, I don't know. What do you want to know? give me a
flows.
more specific question.
Well, it's regarding the concept of flow state and stuff. Tachi, welcome.
I don't think that there's any like way to ensure you're gonna get there. I don't think there's any trick to flow state. I think it's something that just happens to happen once you get to a point in a track or in a whole project or whatever it is you're doing that like you can tune everything else out and just put everything into that. And I think it helps immensely if you enjoy what you're doing. Not just enjoy like the type of work, but like the specific project. You have to find a certain amount of happiness or at least complacency with the work you've done so far before you get to a point where you can tune everything else out. Because otherwise, you got to listen to the same thing over and over again that you think sounds like shit. So
yes.
Yeah, you have to first get something you don't think sounds like shit, and just to work with. Then from there, you may be able to reach a place where nothing else matters until it's done. But I don't have a hard time with that, mostly because I am blessed with a wonderful wife who, if I put my headphones in and start doing music stuff in the room, she'd like make sure I get left alone, even if I'm in the middle of the house where like people are coming in and out of the room. Somebody tries to talk to me, she'd be like, "Nah, don't do that. He's busy." So, and if I'm not there, I've got a separate space to be in. So it's oddly enough, it's easier to reach a flow state like situation if I am in a room full of other people when I'm working. Like, if there's a bunch of other things happening around me, I am way more likely to be able to remain focused on what I'm doing extra hard and, like, get done what I'm doing.
That's really interesting. I don't know, once again, if I have that ability. I'm not sure. Like, focus versus hyper-focus versus lack of focus has come up here often, and I don't know where I stand on that. Like, I'm not sure. But it's really fascinating. If other people are around me or if other things are going on, it all goes in the soup. And that is often a very positive thing because it comes out, it adds to the flavor of the soup. It's interesting, if I may, I am currently working on a new ANGELSPIT'S track. I'm 4 fucking tracks into the new album. FYI. And it's funny because I don't have on this album, I don't the song I'm working on right now, I'm having the lyrics, I'm having trouble with the lyrics, like, because the album's really new, that the concept hasn't come together yet. I've got ideas, but it hasn't come together. And it's just really this one song I'm working on right now. Like, I was trying to write a love song or kind of like an evil, fucked up love song, and I just couldn't do it. Like, I don't have the interest or the... Like, I read over the lyrics and it's like, this is dumb naff shit. The world is fucking on fire and this is some dumb revenge song. I don't have time for this shit.
So you're writing a hit?
Ha! No, I just turned it into a weird, abstract ANGELSPIT'S song. Yeah, that's actually very relevant.
I hate to go there, but...
Yeah. Like, the chorus... I don't know. I just don't know. Like, it's funny that it doesn't hold my interest. And I can't create, because, the way my process works is roughly kick the song together very, very roughly. Lyrics come in at a really early point and everything advances together. And if those lyrics aren't really saying something, the song lacks drive, it lacks purpose and definition. And I'm talking about the musicality and the sound sources and the choices of sounds and, you know, the samples and everything else, like, if it's got that fucking chorus and, like, I can listen to it and I go, yeah, this is going to offend people. Not because every second word is a swear word, but, you know, because it's really saying something, then the song just, it's got to have a dagger and a bazooka. So anyway, currently I'm working on this track, and it's like, you know, I was watching a documentary, like a conspiracy documentary that I didn't necessarily agree with, but that doesn't matter because it was just thought. And then I was projecting all of this other weird Japanese noise. Thank you, Mike, who's DJing tomorrow, actually, on the Raid Train. I don't know, it all went in there, but and I was just thinking, this so is not fucking flow state. And my brain was going, hey, man, I just want to play a computer game right now. And I don't fucking play computer games. Like, I was looking at the floor going, hey, I need to sweep the floor. Because, you know, there's wrapping stuff and everything from getting these orders out. And, I could be doing this. And, what was that sound outside? And it was like non-stop, my brain just going, I don't want to do this, dude. And it's like, I don't care, man, because you have to do this. And you have to do this now. And that's why I came up with the whole thing that flow state's bullshit. Because I can't... if I relied on... I'm sorry to keep you up, Ivan. If I relied on... you know, flow state or inspiration, I would get nothing done. So I guess I'm just trying to say to other people, if you ever feel the same way, you're not alone. Have you ever tried writing a song after exercise or going out to a club? Yes, Alex. Well, normally when I go out to a club, I come home and just fall asleep. But yeah, I try and, you know, if I go for a walk, I always take my phone dictation / writing pad with me. And there's a cafe. I do this big walk through the Hollywood Hills. It's beautiful. And then I end up 2.5 miles later, there's a cafe. And I'll just have a coffee. I'll sit down and I'll write. Because, you know, as we have discussed so many times, drugs, specifically caffeine. And also the great thing about a cafe is, like, there's a whole bunch of people around me. I can only, like, afford to do that every 2 weeks or so. But I go on the walk. Actually, I might go for a walk tomorrow morning. Like twice a week at least. But anyway, yeah, sorry, I feel like I hijacked that and negatived it. Hey, if you've just turned up, by the way, the Raid Train is going on right now, so please jump on there and jump on the GoFundMe as well. As I mentioned before, currently right now at this moment, Luma Chroma is playing. That's their Twitch. ANGELSPIT is giving a portion of merch takes this week to Adam. And I've just been dropping that on the GoFundMe as it goes. Because, and as I've said, you know, and I'm challenging a lot of other bands to do that as well, because Adam and Diana have helped us so much with MTV TV. And we're not going to let this guy down. We will not. Our tribe will not do it. So, Carl just had a rant. Does anybody else want to rant here? Do we want to change the subject? What's going on? I could change the subject. So, I've been gifted something really cool. It's actually a trade. And I've been gifted an O2R96 that I'm trading for my O1V. And because I can't afford a fucking 96. Those things are like... Anyway. And it's really interesting how it's interesting how a new piece of gear, a new piece of software changes the way you work. And the great thing about so much software is there's a lot of free software out there. And you can really utilize that stuff to give you a little personal revolution in creating something new. And that's a mighty fun, mighty exciting thing to do, I think. So here's a thought. is with that said software. With the ONV, I've been the O2R. I've been looking at how I will lay out the studio and do some bits and pieces. It's really cool that I've been going through and making notes about where everything is. And I've decided I want to get back to when I used to make music a long time ago. This is before hard drives were a thing. So much of the song was done on the desk, and so much of the song was put down in real time. Like when you recorded the song, it came straight off your desk, straight onto the DAT. You mixed it, old school ways. And I actually want to get back to doing that. And it was, I'll be using the already existing hard drive technology I have, but I want to, I want to try this approach. And I am really concerned, and we've brought this up as well before, I'm concerned that Frer's on the greatest place. I am concerned that my my process is starting to get rushed because the amount of time it's taking me is less, and that's great. It's really good to have a streamlined process, but I am concerned that things are getting too processed. Like there's too much process involved, and hence making things shorter, because the really cool thing about music is when you don't have a clue what you're doing, fantastic things happen. And I need to get back to a place where I am open to, I have no idea what the hell's going on right now. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
So the O2R, is that a mixer?
It's a big mix-up.
Okay. I'm not sure how I feel about trusting the physicality of DATs at the moment.
Oh, no. Forget DATs. No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
No, I did, but...
Okay. You're going to be recording to hard drives.
Yeah.
That are SSDs. Okay, well, like, at that point, you're like, that's practically... that is a completely worthy experiment. Because keeping things synced is going to be actually not that hard. The advantage of being able to, stem off stems pretty easily.
Yeah. I'm still going to be like, the last minute, I'm still going to be dropping track by track down to the hard drive and then getting it to the nitty gritty. But like, for example, when I do tracks, I don't, when I'm working on a track, I don't have it EQ'd, and I don't, like, it's coming straight in from everything. And I want to start, because the EQing on the O2R is really good. And the compression is really good. And I want to be using all of those things with a desk. I want to use a desk again, like get in there, for reasons I haven't done that in the past. But I just want to get back into the, that joy of creating music and the joy of really, and yes, there is software available where you can do all this sort of thing. Hold on. I would love to hear what your music would sound like if you use entirely different equipment and only Ableton or Porta Studio. I love discs, especially analog ones. I love analog discs too. The Yamaha's kind of, it has the mindset of an analog disc, although it's it is digital. I don't. What was I saying? Yes. Process, slow it down, and be. Sorry.
Channel script setup. With compressor and EQ per channel.
Yeah, it's great, and it's really good compression, and it's really good EQ, and it's got, it's a little bit old, so it's got all of these really cool things, but it's still 9624, so who gives a shit. And I can talk to shit via optical and coax and blah blah blah. but it's, yeah, I want to, I just want to get back into, like I was saying, that there's a whole bunch of software that you can use to do this, but my issue is computing power to pull that stuff in. And thank you that Luna Chroma is going off right now. I need to do something different. I need to change my process. I need to look back in order to look forward, because I guess a lot of the options that are being presented now for music creation aren't appealing to me, because they feel like they are corporate solutions to time process and time management. That's what it feels like. That's why I don't like it. And a lot of the I'm just not feeling it. What the fuck was I listening to the other day that was like, it was a modular thing, and I was thinking, man, it was who was it, Tangerine Dream or something old, I don't remember. No, it wasn't Tangerine Dream. It was someone who was like, had no idea what they were doing, but they were fucking around with a modular in the like late 60s, early 70s. And it was just yet another reminder of, I need to experiment more. And I need to, like, I've been using modular synths for like 20 years. 23. For fucking 20 years. I've been using it for over 20 years. And I need to experiment. And I think the way to experiment is to go back. It's always less is more. That's what I think anyway. So there you go. That's what Carl's got. Ivan.
I think there's a lot to be said for, just let the recorders run and just mess around and jam. Like, that's where happy accidents happen.
I never do that. Like
I so rarely do it, it's not even funny.
Well, you and me need to start doing it. And someone tested me, thanks Tashi for saying that. Max says, what about co-writing a song from scratch with someone you never know, you've never worked with, or something like that? It would change the workflow up. You should listen to Tangerine Dream, Alistair. They won't let you down. They're touring, by the way. It's just very interesting that I don't. I need to, and it's a really healthy thought that constantly what is driving the actual songs that everybody ends up hearing is this constant, I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with the process of this. And I think that's really important. I think that is extremely important. That's all I got.
There's going to be a lot to be said for being able to just hit record, mess around, like just have, go on a have fun and safari and adventure with the gear, and then be able to take those recordings and slice them and dice them and reuse them. I'm really stuck. I need to wait until I'm on third floor to do that.
Go ahead.
I go set up and tear down to get a different piece of equipment online in this room is, it's just not happening right now.
I need to, I need to do this. Like, I love doing it with Ice Planet 9000. Like, you can have big, long things going on, and I love big, long, random things going on. you know, and I watch people online say, I'm going to jam now for an hour, and it's beautiful. I love it. I've always wanted to try something like that with AngelSpit. It's harder because there's a whole bunch more beat-orientated stuff going on. And I just find it more difficult. It's just a thing, I find it harder that I need to try this, though. I need to try it. Okay, but I hate, Rob says complete, that's okay, complete is amazing, but I hate having to record it all first rather than tweak it in real time. My computer sucks, I guess, the desk works more for me. Yeah, ditto. That's the great thing about hardware as well. Or, you know, if you're using software, only use a few things, and yeah. But I need to do this. I need to do this.
Yeah, no, once I can spread my wings upstairs, like, you know, I am really looking forward to, you know, like setting up the 808 and then like not using MIDI but just using sync across multiple devices, you know,
Yeah.
to push around and like, you know, make the bass line happen, and then, you know, make the sequence happen over on the chord or the Pro One.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got I want to throw that back to you. Alex just sent me a question of, do you have a dedicated drum machine or a collector of modules that can fit the same job? Yes. That's the other thing about my system. So I use the BeatStep Pro, and I'm using all the drum bits. I've got like 5 different drum modules. And they're fucking awesome. Like, it's everything I need. They're very fucking chunky. My system is so complicated, convoluted, and full of shit that this sort of thing, getting MIDI talking in a live situation is burning from hell. Like, it's such a fucking pain in the ass. And, oh my god, MIDI is so not going to save us all. MIDI is a pain in the crotch. Like, I endlessly fuck around with, I just reminded myself why I don't do live. Like, if it's analog, I'm all about it. But as soon as you throw MIDI into the thing, I have to use the DAW. Although my system is set up to not use the DAW and not have to use the DAW. But the problem is, that ain't what happens. Because, you know, it's so difficult getting the Emaxes involved or getting the K2000 or whatever involved. Like, I got to play that shit live. Hey, look, really quickly. And then Vince, sorry, Ivan, I want to ask you about drum machines and stuff as well. So this is currently what's going on in Carl's Land, and it's not going to focus on it. I've just, yeah, you can't see them. Anyway, these are modular plates. Because everything I have goes into breakout boxes. It goes into a breakout box over on the modular. And so, for example, the Chaos pad, it turns up there, so I can, you know, map stuff into and out of the Chaos pad. I've got the Emax rack, output left, output right, 5 outputs and the pedal in. I've got to use the pedal in more. All sorts of fun and games. The Rev 2 is here. Oh no, look, I have that. There you go. Yeah, it's good fun. And yeah, heaps of fun and games on this shit. So yeah, it's all about, I don't know, constantly trying to fucking put everything together. There are good MIDI patch bays nowadays. Yeah, there are. But getting them to talk with the DAW and then getting them to talk with this thing and then talk with that thing, and it's like, oh my god.
Would you like to add more latency with that, sir?
Yeah.
Inside of latency.
That's why most of what I do is analog, because it's like,
You don't have that.
yeah, I would say, look, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say I'm very good at MIDI. When I was in in my early 20s, I was lecturing in MIDI at university. I was good at MIDI. I am good at MIDI. I understand MIDI. And I hate MIDI. I fucking hate it. It's so convoluted. It's just so like it's not simple. Like it's such a pain in the crack. It just I just don't understand why. Like now, look, great. Now I've lost MIDI sync. Why have I lost MIDI clock? Now this has happened. Why has that happened? And I just got to
clock is your biggest enemy.
Yeah, and I just got to a point where it's like, I can't fucking do this anymore. Like I find MIDI to be totally fucking useless. So, that's another reason I don't like. Sure, I could use a USB drum machine, but it's got to have MIDI or some form of clockability in it. Otherwise, in a live jam situation, I can't use the fucking thing. And I really want to do live jamming. I just remembered I wanted to do live jamming. Ivan, are there any?
Oh, you've got drum modules already.
Oh yeah, well that's all CV gate. That's all
Yeah.
CV and like, you know, DIN sync. You know.
The difference between those and an 808 is the interface.
Yeah.
So the big question is there a really good Eurorack module that can do like time and
Yes.
time and you can just program it like you do in 808, and it can send signals to lots of different modules
Yes.
because they're plugged in places. Like and maybe like you've got a MIDI in on it, so you can get like integration with the clock from the DAW.
Yes. There are a few of them. My favorite is the Ulterior BeatStep Pro. And it and Alex is saying that Eric has also got one. The BeatStep Pro is cheap because it's been so outdated. You can get them secondhand really cheap. It is solid as a motherfucker. It is really, 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 really solid. And it's got swing and groove, and you've got 2 sequence lines and a drum machine. And you can move through all the different patterns and do all that fun stuff with fills and blah, blah, blah. Actually, it doesn't really have fills, but you can fudge it. It's got USB, MIDI, and clock. And the clock is rock fucking solid. I use it with USB when I'm in programming mode. It also works as a MIDI translating device, a MIDI converter, MIDI CV converter. It's really good. Maybe I have some strange bug in my system. I don't know. I just don't fucking know. And hey man, there are amazing solutions. I can't afford them. And the other thing, for me to change the brain of my system, it's like major surgery. It would be like, not only am I pulling out so much shit and so much cables and so much gear and so much, oh my fucking god, I can't deal with this, but the organization that has gone into me getting this fucking room working is madness. And it's funny, man, it's just MIDI that causes me this endless grief. There you go, that's all I got.
Yeah, next week the BRAP is going to get shipped, supposedly.
Oh, cool.
So, I need to put together. I've got a mini case with two racks in it and a power supply. And I'm gonna put the BRAP is going in there, and I will consider some other drum modules, and because obviously this is going to be a kind of a percussion case, and I'm looking for like the ideal sequencer to put in there so that it can be all kind of like self-contained, and I can just audio out from it and make stuff happen.
Consider the Arturia BeatStep Pro. It's got like, and it's got two, like I said, it has 2 sequences, and each of those sequences have gate, CV, and another CV. So that could be velocity. So there's for each sequence has one of them, and then it has 8 separate trigger outputs for the drums. It's the drum machine part of it has 16 different pads, but the only the bottom row has the goes out to the CV inputs. And so what I'll do is I'll have the top row therefore playing the Emacs or another drum machine or something like that. But yeah, I've got to tell you though, I fucking love doing Ice Planet 9000 jams because they're meditative and you can just go for days and they're lovely and it's fun. But hey man, each to their own. Like man, I've seen people do wild stuff on software real time. So it's not about hardware gear, it's not about buying a whole bunch of shit. And speaking about even more important thing than buying gear, and that's looking after Adam. Because if you can buy gear, you can definitely throw a few bucks on that GoFundMe. And that GoFundMe is right there. And as I mentioned, a portion of all ANGELSPIT merch takes this week are going towards Adam. Paul says it would be better if those controllers had some memory or samples. Memory's cheap. Yes, it is. There are a few that'll do that. I don't know what they are. Rob says, I have a Novation SL Mark III. That was a cheap shop demo keyboard for controlling drum lines, MIDI channels, 2 channels, and clock CV out for my hardware. Perfect. And Alistair says, I usually listen to the Glassjar EP when I'm walking down my town's nature trail. Thank you, Alistair. The next Ice Planet 9000 album is coming out very soon, and I'm going to do a Kickstarter for that. I'm actually talking to my the other member of Ice Planet 9000 about that today. So that's going to be awesome. It has MIDI templates for most instruments, says Rob's. Cool. Also, yeah. So, yeah, that's good. And, look, man, if you can't afford gear like me, just pull shit out and rearrange it. Like, that's part of the reasons I got these modular plates cut. They cost me, like, nearly nothing because it was a friend and he owes me a favor and he's fucking awesome. And it basically means pulling stuff out, doing a bit of maintenance, sticking it back in there, making it better. Because that's the whole thing, is that you keep going, oh, my gear doesn't work, and where, so I have to buy more gear. No, you don't, Often, just move shit around, or fucking, get a free goddamn, get a free fucking, software or something like that. Just muck around. Move the furniture around. You don't need a new house. There you go. Go ahead.
I had some thoughts about Adam.
Please.
And like these are deep thoughts. Our community, as time has gone by.
Say that again. Hold on, you're cutting out. Can you say that again, please?
Our community, as time has gone by, has proven itself, kind of over and over again, to be like we keep surviving and existing because we still act like a community after all these years. Like, I would go so far as to say it gets stronger. We've been very good at having each other's backs, and so like today is an opportunity for us to prove that. It's not the only time that we've done that. Cold Waves itself is
yes
all about that. when other folks have gotten into trouble, like people have stood up and done something for them, helped, made an effort. And like this goes all the way back to the beginnings, back in the 80s, like when we were kids, going out and seeing each other in person because it was freaking Friday night finally. Quite often it was the one time a week that you were going to experience any kind of like unconditional friendship from other people. Like we became sort of a family back then, and so like we just reaching that age now where we need to again sort of be there for each other.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hold on, I just want to let y'alls know that at 10 o'clock we're going to stay with Luna Chroma. So the raid train is now moved on over to Luna Chroma. Well, we're still on Luna Chroma. And then after this we're going to DJ Jen Dagger in about an hour. And remember, today is all about Adam's GoFundMe. And we're going to do there. Hey, did you guys want to talk about anything else? Or we could bugger off right now and just raid on over and let people enjoy this awesome fucking raid that's going on.
Maybe it's time to raid.
Maybe it's time to raid. I got to make sure I can actually do this.
Off.
What? Okay, alright. So, what we are about to do, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, thanks, Paul. We're going to raid on over to Luna Chroma. And that's where we are going now. So I'm going to initiate a raid now. I usually have luck with this. Diana, if you're there, if you could help me out with this in case I don't get it right. And Art of Rock is on again next week. And again, 1,000 times again, this is all about looking after Adam. Adam's going in for life-saving lung surgery, and we got to look after him. So we're going to raid now, hopefully, and we're going to jump on. We're going to jump on that raid, and feel free to join us back here because we're going to be hanging out and chatting some more. Rob, you've got the URL, so jump into the Zoom. Love and Distortion, we will see you next week. You bloody well rock. And let's go enjoy some fucking awesome music for Adam. You rock!